Alright, so now we're live. See if I can set up the camera so I can make sure everything is good. Where's my YouTube? There it is. Okay, so now I can see chats. Don't have scissors, but that's okay. I'll just use that one. Alright, so last time I was on live, I actually didn't realize that I had it set to private for some stupid reason. It is my first time, more or less, going live in like freaking 10 years. So let's hopefully this is actually being properly done this time. So the last time I went live, I fixed this gun here. It didn't even really need fixing. It was more just needed cleaning, and it actually seems like a pretty solid piece. But what the real issue was actually the magazine. Now, I couldn't find out what was wrong with it at first, but it was constantly leaking out of right here. So I figured out that the only way to really do anything about it was actually taking out the exhaust valve. So here, there's a hammer that is back here. Anytime you actually bring it back, there's a hammer that will hit that valve and puncture into here, pressing it and then releasing some gas to go into the mechanism of your gun, and that will make it project the BB. So I was on a hunt for a little bit, and I tore the old exhaust valve out, and I will kind of show you. I can't remember where I put the exhaust valve, but I was on the hunt for a little bit to find out where I can find it, and there's actually my local store that had it. So this is the exhaust valve here. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. This is the exhaust valve. So what happens is that your hammer will puncture onto this little silver bit. It will press in, it will open, and then that's when it shoots out of that little rubber boot. So what happened was that this part here, there's like a little stem, and that was bent a little bit, and that's what was making it not seal properly. So now that we got a replacement, we're gonna just lubricate the O-rings, and we're gonna install it back into the magazine, and then hopefully it will actually seal properly. It looks like this one's in really good condition. I mean, I would hope so. It's brand new. I don't see any nicks on the O-rings. There's 3 of them, so let's find out if it all works out. So the lubricant I'm going to use on this is going to be Dow 33. You don't need too much, but just enough to kind of coat the O-rings. And especially the threading as well, you want to kind of coat that to make it nice and easy to go in. There you go. Very nice. Like Forever Cloud. And then just slip it in. So you want to have the press button right here. Press in like that. Now there is a little tool, and I didn't even have it last time. I don't know why I didn't have it last time. I didn't even know I actually had it. It was kind of hidden in my bag. But, so this tool is kind of like a star. And you'll see these little notches. There's a small one and a bigger one. The bigger one is for the exhaust, and then the smaller one is for the very bottom for the input. So we will press that in a little bit. And then just screw that right in. Now, when you're dealing with any hobby, really, it is best to never torque anything down or use a lot of muscle to get it all in, especially if you don't know if you're going to be cross-threading. This one seems like it's actually going in quite easily. There's no resistance. So that means that the threads are going in nicely. And it feels like that's actually, oh, no. Okay, now I feel resistance, so I'm getting to the bottom. There you go. So that should solve our problem. Give it a little wipe down, just get the rest of the lube off. Okay, so now I have my green gas, and hopefully, if my science is correct, this should not leak. Et voila. So then you'll test it. So you'll press this button in the back, and it should spew right out. So let's try it. There you go. You can actually hear it. I don't hear any leaks. That's one problem solved. I don't even need that anymore. So it goes into the gun, cracks back. You can see it locked back as well. So let's try that again. So magazine is empty. The gun is also empty. So you know everything is functioning right when you know it's empty. You rack it back, and without pressing anything whatsoever, it locks. There you go. It's locked. Gun is empty. We are good to go. That is one gun fully fixed. Let's put that to the side. Okay, so I'm having a little bit of an issue with this one here, and I briefly took it apart, but it seems like the hammer mechanism is actually locked up in place when I'm trying to rack it back. So even if I take out the magazine, which it has full gas in it, if I try to take apart the slide, so if I pinch here and here on those little notches, and then I release the magazine catch, it should fall right off, but it will only go to a certain point. See, there you go. Now normally it would actually just slide right out. Since it's not doing that, and I can actually kind of see, you're not gonna have an easy time finding it, but there is the little hammer that's on this side, and it is pointed up, causing me not to fully take the slide off. So there's definitely something going on up here, and let's see if I can do something about it and hopefully fix it and get this gun working. Let's rack it back. I did kind of play with it off screen. So I'm going to slip a Allen key in here. See if I can track it on there. No, so it doesn't want to go down whatsoever. I had it going before. I was able to take it off, but today it just does not like me. Today it does not like me. Sorry if I kind of go off screen a little bit. Okay, now I can kind of see it. You just have to play with it a little bit just to really try and get it down. Yeah, so now it's locked in. I can see it again. Yeah, so it's preventing me from getting in there. There we go. Don't do that at home. So now we have it down. So normally with a typical Glock, I can even kind of show you with the previous Glock that we just tore apart, because it should be more or less the same mechanism. When you pull this trigger, which I literally just did, normally right here is where that hammer is, and that will pop up, causing the hammer to go into the magazine exhaust valve, which is what we just demonstrated, releases the gas. However, this one for some reason is not doing that. So we are going to try to take this entire thing apart, clean it up. Maybe there's like a little, maybe a little bit of dirt in there. Maybe it's too dry to clean it, or for it to fully function. Or maybe there's even a spring that is not fully engaging or is worn out. It does look like this Glock has gone through a little bit of use, which is good. I hope the player got its money's worth. So we're going to set that aside. Let's get a Phillips screw and start tearing this thing apart. This actually might be a little bit too big for it. Yeah, that's going to be too big. That's okay. So I got this little multi-screwdriver tool thingy. Perfect. Already has one on there. Now I have this mat here because it holds all my screws and tools together. Okay, so let's try and get this apart. So this is going to be my first time ever tearing this one apart. If not, then maybe I can just clean this one off camera. But something is definitely not engaging, and I can kind of see it. So let's tear this one apart just as an example. So watch how easily it comes right off, right? So it slides right off. So when I press the button, when I press the trigger, this here will, which is the hammer, will go forward like so. And I can press it back. Okay, so there is a little bit of a gear that kind of catches. Okay. I think I might have an idea. It's almost like there is a space or something that's like kind of broken in. There we go. Okay. So how does that work? Okay, so I found something. Okay, these are two different mechanisms. So it's right here that is causing it not to go forward. So I brought the hammer back. This part here clicks in and makes the hammer stay back. Right when I press the trigger, nothing wants to release, but as soon as I put pressure right there, that's when it fully engages. So let's find out why all that is happening. Okay, let's do that then. Ooh, what I should have brought is pliers of some sort. Okay, let's see if I can find some. Normally I have some. Today I just. I do have a pair of needle nose here. I can use. Seems like. Okay. Now this entire mechanism should, yeah, there you go. Pops right out. Oop. Let's get all that right out. Don't want any springs flying out at us. I will need to find out where I have to put that. So I'm just going to try to learn this mechanism here on how it all functions. Okay, so that one goes on the left side. Let's give it a little wipe down. Make sure if we do have any grease or dirt in there, I may not be able to get into the entire crevice, but I can at least try. Bring that back. So everything does look like it's in functioning order. It's just the question is, why is that part not being pressed? Unless it's just because this here is actually worn out, which it does look like. So take a look at this. So I'm assuming that the piece that is actually not getting rubbed the right way is this part here, which is all grinded down, or not really sanded down, but yeah, it's definitely worn. That's probably not being like the friction or whatever has to be, engaging onto that one piece that is not engaging with everything else. It's probably just because it's so worn out here that yeah, he actually just might need a new inner nozzle or like guide that goes into the slide. So I wonder if they're even compatible. No, they're probably not going to be compatible, but it was almost worth a try. If I switch slides or even switch the lower receivers or the handguard of the pistols, if they would be able to, because this one is not as worn down. Yeah, I can even see it. Right here, you can see the where it is worn. There's a little bit of a lip that goes right up right here, and that's probably what engages with that little piece that goes up, or that clicks everything else. Here, there is still, that little swoop, but I don't know, it just looks like it's almost like flushed out. So let's put everything together. Let's clean everything. Now that everything is clean, let's put it all together and just kind of see what more I can do. For the meantime, and this is actually why it is also very important to maintain your equipment, because now with that piece that is worn down, because it's all friction, it is going to be worn out. You may now have to replace it instead of spending $10 a bottle on just this kind of stuff. Hopefully we can kind of get it back in working order. So there's this stuff here I actually just bought today, and I've been using it for years. I used to use it with paintball. Tech Suave, and this stuff is amazing. I love this stuff so much. Even smells disgusting. But you know what? If it smells disgusting, it works well. So I used a little bit too much. There we go. That's perfect. Let's get it on the outside. Everything is going to be moving. Do a little bit of this piece, whatever is left on my fingers. Looks like in here could actually use a bit of cleaning. A little dirty. Oh, now you're just gonna be a pain, aren't you? No, that's as much as I thought. Okay. You can slip in. Okay. Good. That's not good. I love it when things fall on the floor. Okay, let's put more touch. Okay, let's try to get that in. Never had to tear this apart. There you go. So that fits in there. There's like a little notch that goes into the actual mechanism. There you go. Put your screw in. Now I can guarantee that it is not fixed, but we're just gonna try to do a little bit of maintenance, or like kind of clean it. Oh, just have it cleaned. Then that way, hopefully, maybe we're lucky and it maybe just got out of place. and just have to be readjusted. Maybe some dirt got into it. Hopefully that is the case. Probably not. But we're still going to try. If not, then maybe I'll just clean this one or fix it off screen. No, I didn't think I was going to be that lucky. But it's so weird because I don't know. Because normally you can actually, you know, if you take this one for an example, you push it back, right? It's now locked in place. You can still press the trigger and it'll still go forward. For some reason with this one, even if I press it, it's like something is still not engaging. Until that is pressed. So it's just so weird on how that is working. Oh. Okay, so I just discovered something interesting. So let's see if we can get this shown. So I'm just replying. Just replying to a buddy of mine on Snapchat. Would be nice if he actually joined us on the live stream. But who knows? He probably won't. Okay. So what I actually just discovered was that, so if you bring back the hammer, right, and you keep that pressed in, it will still, well, maybe it won't lock in. It just did it a second ago, I swear. So if we lock it, okay, and then it won't fire. So if we keep it pressed while I bring it up, no, I just discovered that, I swear. Okay, so let's try that again. It was really weird because it's still locked in even if that part, there you go. So it's locked in now, right? And I pressed, let's see if I can get it on the camera. So it's locked in now and I'm pressing it. And normally the hammer would actually go forward. But now if I press it again, then it actually shoots with the hammer. So maybe it's going too far forward and it's locking here way too much. So let's try that again. So let's see if I can, nope, okay, so it locked in. Because a second ago, pressed. Okay. That is very interesting. So if I bring it, so the trigger is now forward, right? So by bringing the trigger forward, so now it should be at shooter ready. So if I bring the hammer back, it then almost clicks in. Yeah, there you go, it clicked in. And now I'm pressing it and normally it won't do anything. So maybe I fixed it, but somewhat fixed it. Okay, so I have it fired. Mr. Colton, how goes it? Okay, so firing position. So yeah, I can feel it locking into place when it's here, and it hasn't locked there yet. So I can press that button or press that mechanism. I don't even know what that's for. and it's still at the firing ready. And yeah, it works now. That is so weird. But then if it goes down even more, then it locks into here. Okay. That's so odd. Maybe what I have to do is kind of file a little bit into the trigger. Yeah, I can kind of see it. It has to be in like trigger ready in order for it to go in. Odd. Very, very odd. So what is that button for then, I wonder? Let's set that one to the side. We're going to tear this one apart. So we'll tear apart the upper receiver. Maybe I can kind of figure something out. In that meantime, and I'll put this one back together before I forget. Magazine, so that thing is now done. Okay. So let's tear this one apart. Put the pistol grip to the side. Now blocks are more or less pretty much the same tear down from here. So let's start with the upper, the main slide. Just give it a quick little wipe down. Get on the inside. Now, I don't know Poseidon all that well. I should look into Poseidon. But right when I saw this one and I saw the red, I almost said green, the red anodizing on the hop-up chamber, I'm just like, yeah, this has to be like a upgraded build. It very well could be. Based on the slide alone, it looks like this gun has been fairly used, which is great. I love it when people use their replicas, their handguns, their sidearms. That just means that they're getting their money's worth. It's not sitting. It's being very well taken care of. And I love using pistols. Makes you feel like John Wick. Makes you feel like a badass. Okay, so this one does have a fun switch. Go to the side. Hopefully by me rubbing it down, it won't adjust the hop up too much. Also kind of depending on what BBs you use. Grab the unjamming rod so we can also tell that there is no BBs in there just by me doing this, but it cleans the barrel. And hopefully giving it a nice polish finish. That should be nice and clean on the inside. Well, the bucking has a little bit of fray, and it looks like the bucking is a little bit more adjusted. So that's good. Glad to hear that. Glad to see that. Hopefully I didn't move it too much. almost nothing to it. So, Tech T gun swab. I love using this stuff. Usually with the Dow 33 or Dow 55 lubricant is what I like to use on O-rings. But Tech T, I used to use this stuff on my paintball guns way back in the day, and it works so well, but it's recently been harder to find, especially when it comes to airsoft. I'm just glad that my local Army surplus store was able to find, or does have, quite a bit in stock. So that's good. So let's grab the I just put a little bit in there. All you really need is just a dab anytime that you use silicone oil. And then just do a little bit of movement. That way it gets right in there and touches all O-rings that it needs to touch. And just off to the sides a little bit as well. Oh, looks pretty dry in there still. Just want to make sure that it gets almost everywhere so we can prevent any more wear and tear, unnecessary wear and tear. Just trying to get to the sides. There we go. That should be good. Should be plenty. Oh yeah, that already moves a lot better. Let's get some gun swab. Just get all the tracks where everything slides back and forth. Yeah, you can see quite a bit of wear right along the track, which is good. That means that a gun is being used, and I like that. So you're set to disconnect and possibly the knocker? What do you mean by that? What do you mean gear set? I know this gun. Oh well, that's the issue with it. I'm almost certain. Are you talking about with the like the trigger unit and why it's not engaging properly? It is a pretty nice gun though. I like it. It's almost like it has to be like pre-cocked, or the trigger has to be pre-set before start using it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Disconnect and possibly the knocker. I'll definitely have to look into that then. I don't know how long I'm gonna have these guns for, but maybe I can look apart on how like the entire thing pulls apart. That's way too much loot now. Where are you from, Con? There we go. That should be good. Start putting it all back together. I'm missing something. Don't want to forget the barrel. Give it a nice little thin layer of lubricant. That way it doesn't. Ooh, I'm losing it here. That way it still does its job, but it doesn't like smudge all over the gun. And you can keep its nice anodizing. At the end of it, I always like give it a wipe down anyway, just to make it nice, look nice and pretty. There we go. Just gonna put a little bit on the nozzle. Seems like I want it to stick a little bit. Did I say you can go forward? Not going in properly. There we go. Just click into place. Now I can definitely tell it's not gonna. Oh. No, it worked a second ago. Yeah, I can tell that it doesn't want to, that hammer is still up, which is actually going to be really annoying. But I'll definitely have to do it off screen. Or if I can really like figure it out, then maybe I can bring it back onto another live stream and get it done. And it just goes right into fully auto as soon as I bring it back. So watch this. So I'll bring it back, and then it's just going to start shooting until it's completely empty. No, almost empty. Oh, I actually wanted to click it. Let's try that again. For some reason, now it works. I don't know how that worked, but okay, it's it's fixed now. Okay, let's put a little bit more air. Normally, you're supposed to do like 3 to 5 seconds. So yeah, before it wouldn't even, like, you would rack it back, and there's like a hint sound of that little little piece here that is the trigger that would click, and now it's actually clicking fine. So that's okay. So let's try that again. So it's not in the firing position, so I can press the trigger all I want. Bring it back, and right when I hit the magazine release, it should just click right in. Now let's see if as soon as I fire it, let's see if it locks back in place, because the magazine is completely empty. As we already saw, the barrel was also empty. So if we fire it once, it doesn't want to lock back. Maybe there's not enough pressure, but the hammer still comes back. I don't know if that's going to be an issue, but before it didn't even want to fire whatsoever. I'll talk to the customer, see what he says. Again, I don't really know Poseidon all that much. What it could be is that because it is a custom build, it may not even lock back because there's not enough pressure to bring it all the way back and lock into place like it does now. It didn't even seem like it. So when it fired, it seemed like it only moved so little and then went right back forward instead of coming all the way back where it can lock in. But let's try that one more time. Yeah, so like I just saw it. So when this little latch, normally that latch will come all the way back, and that's when it locks in. But when it fired, it seemed like it only came like halfway and then went right back forward. So let's try that again, and I can guarantee that little notch will only go up to there. Now it locks in because it had to make me look like a dick. All right, so that is that gun finished. All right, so this is probably going to be my last one for the night. This also breaks down just like a Glock. This one did not come with a magazine. I will try. Yeah, I think he was saying that this one has a problem when it, the rod is coming out way too far. I'm not used to seeing that whatsoever, so we're going to tear this one apart as well and see what we can do. Yeah, this one did not come with a magazine. I'm pretty sure it worked with Glock magazines. So let's actually try that with the Glock that we just had. So it does fit, just whether or not. No, I can guarantee that it does not take this mag whatsoever. This is a WeTech mag. It fits in, like it clicks in, but anytime you fire, it doesn't work. Unfortunately, there's only so much I can do with this one because I can't properly test it, but I will still do what I can. So let's tear it apart. We'll do the same thing. We'll clean it out. Slides completely off nice and easy. Yeah, this, I can tell this is actually a little bit older. It does feel nice though. Not quite as grippy as the last one, but still has a nice little grip to it. This one's polymer, has the rails at the very bottom. Yeah, I can tell the nozzle here, the nozzle opening is completely different from what we just fired. Uh, yeah, this is a little dirty. It's probably been a minute since it's been cleaned. That's okay. We're gonna get it in working order. We can tell that it shoots, and maybe that's odd. Maybe that is actually supposed to come out on purpose because it seems like it's either stuck, like the outer the hop up chamber is probably too stuck like forward for it to be flush. Because like I said, it looks like it has been a minute since it's been cleaned. You know, it does look like a little bit of an older model. So let's tear it all apart and see what we can do for this customer. I do not want to come out easy. So it seems like it slides nicely, but the polymer finish is not very shiny. It's actually very dull. But we're going to change that. We're going to make it nice. We're going to clean it right up. Hopefully these customers are going to be happy with how I work on them. I'm not by any means a professional. I've actually more did this just as a hobby when I was paintballing. You know, I used to just fix and clean guns, sell them back, and anytime one was like labeled as broken, I like to buy it, fix it up. Most of the time, it just needed a cleaning anyway. And then yeah, I would test it, maybe play a game or two with it, just to make sure it's still in working order. If it wasn't, then I'd try again. And that's how I learned how to do all this stuff, was just by trial and error. I used to love the Empire stuff, like the Empire Axe and the Empire Mini. Those were like my absolute top guns. Even though everyone was like Axe plus cash just to trade, I absolutely love the Axe, and the Mini GS was such an upgrade with that micro switch trigger. But I'm actually quite glad that Airsoft is new to me when it comes to this kind of stuff, because it's not computerized like the guns were. These are all just mechanical, like what I grew up on when it came to paintball. My very first gun with paintball was the what was it? Battle tested, or BT4 BT4 Delta. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, the BT4 Delta was just such a basic gun, and I had to like split it all in half just to get to it. But you know what? I learned how to properly lubricate these guns, and it's not as finicky. I mean, it was still kind of finicky, but it's not as finicky as these guns were or are. But as soon as I got into like speedball and whatnot, that's when everything got so much easier, because you can just take out the bolt and then just lubricate the O-rings, and then there you go. It was such simple. I mean, the Mini back in the day, like the very first generation Mini, you had to tear out a screw and then you can get to the bolt, but it wasn't that big of a deal. The Empire Axe was a lot easier because you can just, you know, press a button and then it just pulls right out. And then it got even easier when it came to like bob long guns, because that with the bolt was just pop up a pin and then it just slides out and it was all right there. Getting to the pop up wasn't hard either, but that's when you're really getting into the gun. And I used to record every single thing. Anytime I went through a case, I recorded it. Anytime I did maintenance, I recorded it. what I did when I did it. There you go. I used to be on top of it all. So there's the issue. Look, this is supposed to be screwed in all the way. So right here, finish this looping. Okay. So right here, it screws in and out. And the reason why it was sticking out so much underneath the barrel is because that was about quite away. So if I screw that all the way in, I would put Loctite in it if it was my gun. But because it's not, I'm just going to screw it in. Just have it hand tight, and there you go. So that's probably that problem solved. Okay, so I'll do the upper bit. Give it one more wipe down just in case. Get right into the nozzle just to make sure that it's really in there. Try to get to the sides just so it can go all the way around. Hello, Mr. Dono, Mr. LT. How you doing today, sir? So sorry I missed out last time. Mr. Dan. Dan is such a sweetheart. I freaking love Dan. Thanks for tuning in, though, dude. Mr. Dan with this heart. I was Airsoft the other day. Melanie says hi. Hi, Melanie. Oh, she's such a sweetheart, too. How did you and Ilya make out? What I'd actually like to do is actually have the team like almost featured on these videos or on the live streams. It'd be pretty fun. Like have a guest just sitting next to me and like talking airsoft, talking stories while we just clean our guns. Even if I don't get a lot of views, I think it would be pretty cool to do. Pretty fun to do. We missed you yesterday. A lot of renters that didn't call their hits, but it was still fun. Well, that's good. Glad you guys had fun. I mean, that's typical. If people don't call their hits, that just means that you get to shoot them even more. Oh, got that moving nicely. Beautiful. think it's supposed to be the other way. No, you cannot. Oh, let's try it. But what if I had it flipped upside down? Would it still fit in? Yes, it would, but oh, that's dirty. All right. Ooh, very dirty. You gotta love it when hair gets into the gears. No, Dan, if there was quite a bit of renters in there, I don't think it would have been very fair if all three of us were wiping them all out. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, there you go. So before that lower rod here was sticking out, and now it's not. No, still is actually, but that could just be. Yeah, I messed that up. I have it the other way around. I had a feeling, but you know what? Trial and error. There we go. Let's try that now. Much better. There you go. Give it a nice little wipe down. Now what I should have done is lube up the outer barrel, which I'm actually going to do anyway. Now I know how to properly put it back together. Yeah, there we go. A little gun swab, get this little goop on there. Put it all on. There you go. Hopefully that will eliminate any wear and tear. And just for good measure, let's do another layer on the inside. No such thing as too much lube, right? This is already looking a lot cleaner. Yeah. Pretty much every single time that you do a gun, it's more or less it's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. Anything that is moving, you just have to make sure that you put lubricant your favorite kind of lubricant. I like to use 3 different kinds, 3, sometimes 4 different kinds. I like to use the Tech T, an oil, like a liquid oil, some DAF 33 or 35, or sorry, 55. All depends on what it is going on to, really. I forget which way that goes. Pretty sure it's the other way, but we're gonna find out. Yep, other way. I had a feeling. Keep on getting it wrong. You know, this kind of gets. I kind of got inspired from all this to do this just from The Last of Us, especially in like part 1 and part 2, when not the remaster or the original, but part 1 and part 2, when they're tearing apart the guns and they have all these tools and they grab them and like all they do is like a little bit of sanding right there, and now all of a sudden there's 3 extra rounds in the chamber or in the magazine. But there you go. Just got to rack it a few times. Already feeling so much better, and you can get that satisfying click from the trigger. It's actually a nice flat trigger too. And there you go. Now, if this had a magazine, I would test it, but it does not. So that's okay. It clicks, it racks. If I had a magazine, again, I would test it, but I do not. All right, so that's 3 guns solved today. I think in my next live stream, I'm going to work on this thing, which is the Baba Yaga. What is wrong with it, and I do have a magazine for it. Apparently this is a pain in the ass, and I'm pretty sure it's the SRC version of Baba Yaga because there is no markings, and it looks like there's been paint. Oh no, this is the Vulcan one. I actually just noticed that. So it does say Vulcan right there. But because it seems like someone just kind of sprayed some white paint on it, it can barely see it. So I kind of played with this one. The customer was saying that it is a pain in the ass. It does have a nice texture grip, nice like matte finish to it. It's not as coppery as the actual Baba Yaga one, but I've noticed there's a lot of wear on the hammer, and it gets caught every once in a while. It'll get caught on the hammer itself, like the slide will get caught on it. Let's see if I can. Of course, now it doesn't want to do that. Yeah, every once in a while I get caught on the hammer and I have to squeeze my finger in just to push it down, and then the hammer slides forward. So I know it does rack back and it does fire, just not very well. There's also no gas in it, so that would help. So let's do a quick little diagnosis on this before I pack everything up. And it does fire right away, even without pressing on the trigger. So right when I bring it back, it's going to fire again. It doesn't even want to. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So right now, it's stuck on the hammer. So without even pressing the trigger or locking anything back, I just press down, and it slides down. So what I'm going to do is probably just sand that down a little bit. But it does seem like anytime it wants to fire. Okay, that time I actually brought it slowly. But anytime I was just playing with it, the hammer just wanted to go forward no matter what happened. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there you go. So I racked it back, went forward, and it just. Oh, you guys probably didn't even see that, dummy. So I'll rack it back and then forward, and the hammer will just automatically go forward as if it was about to fire. So there it is, instead of it just being locked back. So there might be a little bit of an issue, maybe a slip. but it doesn't seem like it just wants to stay, and it's actually very inconsistent on it going forward, even without pressing the trigger, or staying. It's so I don't know. And even when I put the magazine in, sometimes the hammer will actually just release and it'll just fire. So let's see. Okay, it doesn't do that. There you go. So that time, all I did was just put the magazine in, and it just fired. And now it's locked in by the hammer once again. So I'll release the hammer, and it goes forward. So that will be the next project for the next live stream. See if we can figure that one out. And then there's this one that I've never worked on before. Whoa, okay. Accidentally pressed the button for that one. There are BBs in this one, so I just have to be a little careful. This one I played with a little bit as well. It does seem like it wants to just get stuck. Maybe it's just another case of maybe the customer doesn't know how to properly lube their sidearm. Check to see if the nozzle is wiggling. Could be binding on the hammer. That and the sear might be bent or weak. I will definitely have to check that out. So this one, yeah, I've never worked on this kind of gun before, but I know that the bolt, the nozzle, it all gets stuck, just like so. So I think it just has to be lubricated, maintained, cleaned up. Maybe there's some sand or dirt or something in there, and it will hopefully kind of just fix itself. 9 times out of 10, anytime there is an issue, it's usually that. It usually just has to be cleaned up and then lubricated, and then it should be good to go. But right now, I just have to kind of press the nozzle just to play with it, and normally it will just kind of go in. There's also a rod up here. Yeah, see, it's just kind of stuck. I don't even know how to properly fix this. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. There you go. That time I got it. So it just seems like it's kind of like out of place. Maybe there's just something holding it. And once again, what is with these guns that just have Glock mags? Like, it's not even a Glock, but it has a Glock mag. Oh well. So yeah, I think that will be my next live stream. I don't know when I'll get to that. Hopefully soon, maybe over the weekend. But yeah, those are going to be the next 2 guns I work on. And then I have another guy, Chris, that I have to work on his DMR. Don't worry, Chris, I'm getting to your gun. I've had yours forever, but I will get it all fixed. Mr. Nan, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully I get to see you guys soon.